Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans alike, welcome to another edition of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. One of the couple, two, three best podcasts around. So sit back, grab yourself a cold one and a Polish sausage, park your keister in the French room, and listen to Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago.
In Chicago, you know that all sports rock. The Bears, Hawks, Bulls, Cubs, and Sox. Pick your favorite, you can choose. As long as the Packers lose. For everything you need to know, it's Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. This is your hosts Alex and Sean. On this episode, we are going to be talking about what happened in Green Bay today, and we are just going to talk Chicago sports, which is awesome if you love puke. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Rockford Ice Hogs. Christmas is coming, so if you have a loved one on your Christmas list that you have not gotten for, might I suggest heading on over to icehogs.com, get a hat, shirt, jersey, tickets, and more. Oh, Sean, you don't know who the Rockford Ice Hogs are? Well, let me tell you. They're the AHL minor league team of the Chicago Blackhawks. What does that mean for you? You can see the stars of tomorrow today at family-friendly, affordable prices. So head on over to icehogs.com, get yourself a hat, shirt, jersey, tickets, more, and things for your loved ones to put under the tree. Tell them Swerski Sports sent you. Also, the Hot Mic app. If you aren't familiar with the Hot Mic app, it is the best thing in sports right now, at least with Chicago sports, because Chicago sports are puke. But Hot Mic is great. If you're tired of listening to the garbage announcers that they have during the game, i.e. if you were watching the game today and somebody touched the Packers receiver and they were debating whether or not that was pass interference, literally had his hand touching his jersey, and it's annoying to you, you can watch the game on your television and then through the Hot Mic app, listen to any number of broadcasters that are also Bears fans. It's very cool. So they are now on Apple and Android, so you can get it in the App Store, and you can either use the code PATT, P-A-T-T 23, or HOP, capital HOP 23, and download that, and it is free. Check it out. If you don't like it, you can just delete it off. It doesn't cost you a penny. Anyway, Alex, I think everything that happened today in Green Bay, pretty much we could have guessed. Am I correct?
Yeah, no, I definitely think you're right. It still sucks so much, but I mean, yeah, I'm not really surprised at how it happened. I mean, look, anything can happen in the NFL playoffs, but I don't think the Packers are really that good. I mean, they're not, but you know what? The Bears' offense, outside a few recent games against bad teams, has struggled greatly. And it's hard to play in Green Bay, and the Bears are cursed against Green Bay. And, I mean, no matter what, the Packers this year are having much more success than you. And, I mean, even at his age, he's still the better quarterback. The Green Bay Packers are the better quarterback. You know, this is kind of what I thought, a lower-scoring, close game that the Bears were going to lose on some heartbreaking play. Now, it wasn't as heartbreaking as I thought it would be. I know a lot of people are upset about the final play, but I can kind of tell you why you can maybe be less upset about it in a minute. But yeah, I mean, there's another way to put it, really. It was sadly predictable, and the season is officially over. They've been eliminated from the playoffs. The Vikings won. And now it just feels like just survive these last two games. Don't see any of your major pieces you want for the future get hurt, and get on with the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there's any number of single plays where you can be like, well, that could have been a big difference. That could have been a big difference. The officiating. And I know whenever people complain about the officiating, there's always somebody who goes, well, they could have played better and then they could have won despite the blah, 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 blah. And sure, but when it's that closely of a contested game and you have such bad officiating, and this is not just isolated to this game, I have not been able to watch a single game this season where I haven't thrown my, and this is watching games where it's two teams I don't like, two teams I have no opinion on. I just, no interest. My team against somebody else. It doesn't matter what scenario it is. There has not been a single game I've watched this year where I thought that officiating was pretty good, pretty fair. It has been abysmal all year long. This is literally on par with the replacement refs. That's how bad this is.
Yeah. Yeah, look, let's be real. That call on Cordell Patterson was a disgusting joke. It was an absolute disgusting joke. And the fact that it stayed as it was, the fact that they can't really review it or do anything about it, that's brutal. That's absolutely brutal. And you know what? There is not a single writer out there that didn't think otherwise. Everyone that I've seen in terms of like NFL media, whether they're a writer, television personality, whatever, that I've seen on Twitter, whether affiliated with the Bears or not, could not stop talking about what an awful albatross call that was. And you know what? It's a shame. It really is a shame. Because that was a great play by Cordero Patterson. It should have been the Bears' ball. Would they have scored? I don't really know. But Green Bay ended up scoring after that.
It was so bad is all of the Bears beat writers, blue check marks next to their name at the game, started tweeting out, I want to know what Nick Blandino said about that. And
yeah, sure.
Because they all knew it was terrible. And Nick Blandino said it's terrible. That it's a joke. When you have every broadcast has some ex-official or official head, or in Nick Blandino's case, the guy who was the boss of all of the officials. And they're at the point now where they've listen to them. They sound shell-shocked because they can't, on their end, they would love to be able to be like, yeah, I just watched the replay and this call will stand. Or I watched the replay and this will be overturned. Or I watched the replay, that was a good call. They're not saying that. They're coming out. They're like, I don't know. I watched this. I don't see the, this was a catch. And they come back, catch. I don't know. Don't know what to tell you. It's abysmal refereeing and officiating in the sport. And for a sport that is just absolutely at the top of its game, huge ratings, seems like a juggernaut. No sport can catch it as far as popularity, as far as making money. And they're going to bring themselves down because they can't figure out how to get out of their own way. They're by far and away the biggest money-making sport. And they don't have full-time officials. Their officials do other things during the off-season as like professions. They take like breaks to do the NFL. You have them be full-time referees in the off-season. They should be going to seminars and, all kinds of things, watching tape, in discussion with officials. They should be meeting with a consortium of the teams, being like, they should be able to hear it out. Hey, what the hell were you thinking here? They should be able to answer that. Maybe not in public, but at least in private. Like, they should be held accountable. They should have to go through year-round training to be. This job isn't an easy job. So why not put in the work to do the job well?
At the very least, there has to be accountability. At the very, very least, it's the fact that there isn't is, I think, what's really upsetting a lot of us. You make bad calls after bad calls and nothing happens. There's got to be some sort of protocol. Just letting it slide and having a job safe no matter what, that just can't happen. And if the league needs to have a more defined definition of the rules, then they should. You're a major product. You shouldn't be going out there just with arbitrary rules. That's not how you should be operating.
And sometimes they get so like detailed in the writing of the rule that it becomes mucky. That's part of what they should be doing in the off season. Is the league should have tape. Be like, this is what we're trying to get rid of. This is okay. This is a pass interference. This is not. And
right. Do a computer breakdown. Do it digitally. You have all this technology. Use that as well. You can afford it. You have money. You're the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, hell, put body cam type, things on there so we can see, for their training purposes, be like, hey, this was the view I had. And that's why I had trouble. All right, well, you know what? Maybe the NFL can be like, all right, maybe we need to reposition where we have officials. Maybe we need to add another official to the field to put them, here, and we'll miss 20% less pass interferences or holdings or whatever. There's technology to help you out there to do all these things, and they're not investing in that.
No, they're not.
And
I don't see it changing anytime soon, frankly.
And if you guys watched the Bears game, which if you're listening to the show, you probably did, the Cordero Patterson, the punt returner for the Packers did not call a fair catch.
No, he didn't.
So
wasn't even close. He didn't even wave his arms in any sort of way to indicate that he was.
Yeah, and so if you are going to catch the ball and try to return it, you are allowed 1 yard space to catch the ball. And after that, boom. He had the space. He didn't call a fair catch. He was hit clean with a shoulder, and he fumbled the ball. It was Bears ball. They blew the whistle. I want to go back and watch the replay again. But from my memory, it looked like there was nobody around the Bears. They probably run that back for a touchdown if they don't blow that whistle. And maybe
I'd
they
have to
do,
look
maybe
back
they'll-
at the replay. I was too upset, frankly.
Whether they do or not, Bears recovered it, and
right.
the Packers would not have scored a touchdown on that drive. And at the end of the game, instead of being an 8-point game, it's a 1-point game. And that changes the dynamic of how you march down the field, because you only have to get to about the 30, 35-yard line instead of in the end zone.
Yeah, well, knowing us, we probably would have missed.
You know what? That may be. But it changes the way things go. Also, there was a drive where the Bears ended up kicking a field goal. And the Bears threw a first down pass to I think it was Cordero Patterson again. Got the first down catch, and they said out of bounds.
It was clearly green space in between.
Yes, and you know what? The way that official was positioned, there's absolutely no way they should have missed that. None. That's another absolutely blown call. Is you call that inbounds, and then if you go back on replay and go, oh, you know what? He was a quarter of a centimeter over, then there you go. But there's no way you call that out of bounds, especially considering where the position was on the field with the official. That was a blown call, and it's so frustrating because the Packers didn't have any of those calls going against you. And I saw you tweeted out, that there was one play the Packers could have had a touchdown. It kind of negated it. But, the Packers didn't. And that's a football play. If you don't make a football play, but when it's an official, getting it wrong multiple times and impacts you, the Bears would have had first and goal from like the 1.5 yard line. That could have changed the game too. That could have been another 4 points on the board. There's like right between those two things, there was potentially bare minimum 7-point swing, but up to 18-point swing. So between a 7 and an 18-point swing just from 2 bad calls. And, that's huge in a game that was an 8-point decision. Did the Bears play very well? No.
No, they didn't. And I don't want to make this all about the officiating, but you're definitely right that a lot of the dynamic was changed, but there were a lot of things they did not do well. Let's just say that.
Yeah, let's start with the offense. The play calling in the first quarter was dog shit.
It was.
Absolute dog shit. There was a point in the game where they started getting in rhythm, but that play calling in the first quarter was absolute dog shit. There was a 3rd and 16 or something, and they got a no gain on a pass. It was abysmal.
Screen pass, yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You finally have Mitch Trubisky playing well. Unleash him. He made some really good throws.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the problems. He made some really good throws, but there were also some very ill-advised plays and some plays that, obviously could have gone better, whether the play calling was better, whether it was executed better. But, I mean, Mitch did have some very nice throws in this game, and it's too bad that when he was in rhythm in the second quarter, it wasn't enough. It's too bad they really couldn't gain momentum right there.
Yeah. But you read some really nice plays from Mitch Trubisky, honestly. Is the one where he threw it across his body, which normally that's a really ill-advised pass. But if you watch the mechanics the way he did it, he really turned his body completely. So it wasn't just an arm throw. He was able to, and this goes to his athleticism, is he was able to turn his whole body so he got some oomph on the ball, and he threw it for the second career catch for Riley Ridley.
Yeah, no, there were some plays where you wanted to see Mitch take a chance on for a while now, and I mean, doing it in a hostile environment like that in cold was certainly a nice thing to see. It just makes it frustrating that it all was for naught.
Yeah, I mean, some of the play calling with, where it involved your offensive lineman beating the Packers defensive line one-on-one, and it was bad. The right side of your offensive line, had a tough time today. I mean, Cornelius Lucas, I think, has played very well, but Rashawn Coward, who also is played okay, he got beat like a rented mule by Kenny Clark. It's you have to negate some of that pass rush, and the Bears had a lot of pressure on Trubisky, and it showed. It really showed. They should have negated some of that with some better screen passes. They could have negated that with some rollouts. It's a lot of the offensive struggles in this game granted, you have to give credit to the Packers because they didn't beat Trubisky this time. If they're going to lose, I didn't want them to see them beat Trubisky, and I don't think they did. In the first game, Trubisky looked really bad. This game, he didn't, and it was Matt Nagy and that offensive line, to be honest with you, is the big component of it.
Yeah, and while I can't blame the defense, I can't blame the defense fully. The second half, the start of the second half, was just a complete utter collapse on their end, and if they don't, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, I mean, the defense had some tackling issues, but again, you're playing against Aaron Rodgers, and you have Akeem Hicks back, but it's obviously he's not Akeem Hicks. I mean,
right.
Every time he went to the sideline, his shoulder was just hanging there. And
that man's a warrior, though. My goodness.
I love Akeem Hicks. I love that he came out there to play hard. What is the point of him playing these next 2 games?
No, he's got to be shut down. Put him on IR.
Yeah, shut him down. is I appreciate that he was going to try to play, because if they beat the Packers, I'm confident that they make the playoffs. But they didn't. So it's over. It's officially done. So shut them down. Shut a lot of these guys down. You had Prince Amukamara, who's clearly playing with a bad hamstring. And one play that he got beat on was a play that he got beat on in the first matchup too, by a different wide receiver. You're playing without your two inside linebackers. And so you're a depleted defense. They held Green Bay to 21 points at home. And one of them was a drive that shouldn't have been scored anyway. So you played Green Bay twice and you gave up a total of 31 points.
And you lost both of them.
So
you end the decade 4-17 against them. I'm going to go on a rant about that later. I just want to point that out.
So as much as we want to be mad at the defense, they didn't really do anything that was terrible. They 203 yards for Aaron Rodgers, and their top running back Jones got 51 yards. So it's, he was less than 4 yards a carry, only got 51 yards. So, statistically, you didn't do anything bad. You held Aaron Rodgers to 200 yards passing, their top running back to 51 yards, only gave up 21 points. Those are recipes for you winning a game. At some point, you have to put up points to protect your defense. And they don't. If you're the Bears defense, don't you have to be frustrated that the offense is not contributing? You notice how when they started playing worse is the offense was in a bad lull. When the offense started putting up points, the defense responded in kind and came out and played tough and put, 2 back-to-back 3-and-outs. Those are the things you have to help your defense out, whether that's long drive and give them some rest, whether that's energizing them by putting some points on the board and giving them a lead, God forbid, a lead, and let them play it from in front instead of behind. You watch the magic that you have. The worst thing for me was they really got very little pressure on Aaron Rodgers.
No, you had Hicks and Mack back and you couldn't do anything still. And I'm going to ask this question again. I've asked this question plenty of times this year. Khalil Mack, where the hell are you?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Where is he?
Good question. I know they double team him a lot, but still, get there. Drive that double team. Get it home. But
last year he was sacking Aaron Rodgers with his back, and now he's MIA.
Yeah, and the Bears front office needs to help him. Put somebody on the other side that can get to the quarterback. Don't give a contract to that chump that can't get to the quarterback. You've given him 4 years now, and you picked up his 5th-year option, so you're going to pay him a ton of money next year. But don't extend him. Bring in some competition. Bring in somebody that can help you get to the quarterback.
No, you got to make a change there.
Yeah, you need another guy that can get there, because suddenly you're not going to be able to double team Mac. Or if you do, you're getting pressure on the other side. And I'm a firm believer that if you can get some sort of balanced defense as far as pressure, then your star is going to do superstar things.
Yep. And you're not seeing enough of it. And that's one of the things that I can honestly complain about the defense. It's hard to complain a lot just looking at the raw numbers, looking at the points they're giving up. But if there's if there are two things. One is not getting enough pressure, and two is I think speaking of IR, I think they got to IR Prince Amukamara because he is not playing well at all. I don't think he's 100% healthy. But, my overall point is we've seen too many plays where the secondary just gets burned this year.
Absolutely. And the other big thing that the two things the Bears need for next year, three things. They need three things I think can make them a world of a better team. On defense, you need another edge rusher. Just flat out, you need an edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is, I love HaHa Clinton Dix, but I think you need to bring in a safety that's a thumper. Let Eddie Jackson play more free safety in the center field type guy. Bring somebody in there that's a big thumper that will come down and play the box to help in the run game. I think that makes your defense that much better, that coming back healthy. On offense, I mean, I don't know what you do with the offensive line, but you need a U tight end, like a legit pass-catching tight end, because here's what happened today. Zach Ertz, 61 yards and a touchdown. You had the 49ers. I should have wrote this down. You had the Chiefs with Travis Kelce had 142 yards receiving. Like, look at how much production that you're getting from that position from other teams. That you're missing out on. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, they need a U tight end, not a PU tight end.
True. So there's definite holes that need to be filled. I think this team as constructed could be a lot better. Health is a big issue, but this offense you watch the end of the games and the Bears are able to move the ball. I think Matt Nagy needs to go and look in the mirror long and hard and ask himself, what the hell are you doing? He's handcuffing this defense quite a bit. This offense quite a bit. Is let them go out. You know what? If Mitch Trubisky can't play, that's on him. But don't go out there going, oh, we're going to be playing a team that can score a lot of points and score them quickly. Let's go out there and throw, nothing in the first half but 3-yard passes. The first quarter. Like, it's just not going to work. And if they try to do that next week against the Chiefs, it's going to be bad. Press the ball. Move the ball downfield.
Yeah, no, I totally with you. And what sucks is this is not going to be the easiest of fixes because there are a lot of holes to fix on this offense. Just alone, you pretty much have to redo that offensive line because the offensive line is that bad. It's horrible.
I don't know. They didn't play well, but Leno, you've got that contract. He played well before this year. So you just got to go back and figure out where it went wrong this year. Is he playing hurt? Is there some leverage issues that he's got? I don't know. Is there something that he changed in his philosophy or is it the play calling that is putting him on an island that he can't be on? I don't know. But prior to this year, he was pretty good. I think you have to stick with Whitehair at your center because you're getting better results at him as at center. The left side of your line from the center, left guard, left tackle, I think that's what you got. The right side, I think you move on from your two starters. I think Massey let go. Kyle Long you let go.
I agree.
That's a lot of money. It's tied up in those two guys.
Yep. You need a new direction there.
I mean, Cornelius Lucas has been okay, and I think you can plug him in a well. We tried to improve. Maybe you give Alex Bars an opportunity because I think they like him, and I did like him coming out of college.
Me too.
So maybe that works better. I don't know. They seem to still like Rashad Coward. So I think there's ways to get younger and better without breaking the bank. But I think they're going to have to put some draft picks in, at least one draft pick in there to shore that up a little bit, or at least add depth. But I think if you can improve the offensive line play, that changes a lot of things. I think it gives you better opportunity to run the ball, gives your quarterback more time to throw it, and just frustrating.
Yes, it is. The season's over now. I mean, there's 2 more games, but any aspirations for a Super Bowl is gone, and I think we can agree this has been one of the most disappointing seasons in this town's sports realm this decade. I don't think I could think of one that's more disappointing. You could think of some that are kind of close, but not like this.
Yeah, so the Bears aren't going to make the playoffs. The Bulls are terrible, and people are celebrating a win against a very good team without 3 of their best players.
Is it bad that I'm getting to the point again where I'm kind of annoyed with wins because it's just going to feed the delusions of the front office?
I know they're really bad, but they've got like 9 wins already. Just get the most lottery picks or the most lottery balls that you can.
Every win like that is going to just be like, oh, well, we're making progress. Jim Boylan, he's a great guy. We're sticking with him. It's maddening. It's absolutely maddening. And now
that they've already come out and said they're staying with him, deal with it, is infuriating.
But is it surprising? It's
No.
not. And look, you are seeing games at the United Center where the upper deck is so empty that it looks like one of those old-time games where you have to tarp off the frickin' upper deck with the curtain and put everyone in the lower deck.
The Bulls are so terrible, but there are a lot of teams with a worse record.
Yeah.
The Knicks, the Cavaliers, the Hawks, the Wizards, the Warriors, the Pelicans, and the Grizzlies.
You know what's sad?
There's 7 teams worse than you. So at this point, you're looking at another 7th or 8th pick overall.
Yeah, exactly. You're looking at that, and even so, I mean, watch these guys have a little streak against some bad teams. It would totally be Bulls if they somehow made the playoffs. I mean, they're not a playoff team by any means, but the East is so bad, and there's so many terrible teams, they'll probably stupidly fall into one, and they won't even have a lottery pick.
They're only 3 games out of the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna have several of these games where they're gonna pull one out of their butts, like the one that they had with Zach LaVine that shot. What was that? Who was that against? Charlotte? In Charlotte? It was either Charlotte or was it? Maybe it was. Whoever it was. It was a road game. They had that miracle shot and made it in. You're going to win enough of those games where you're just going to squeak into the playoffs. And then everyone's going to preach about, oh, this team is improved. This team is improved. No, it's not. It amazes me how much delusion can be associated with this Bulls franchise?
Yeah,
Every year.
Everyone was mad at the Bulls for losing to the Warriors, who wouldn't it be such an NBA thing for the Warriors to get the number 1 overall pick with everyone hurt and then have a situation like when the Spurs got Tim Duncan because David Robinson was out all year, and they came back healthy, and they're like, oh, look at this, we got Tim Duncan and we got David Robinson. Oh. Like everybody's going to come back healthy for the Warriors, and they're going to oh, look at the number 1 pick. And there's the Bulls just floundering.
Oh, there's the 7th pick again.
Yeah, I was glad the Bulls lost to the Warriors. I was annoyed. Like I just want epic losses so they can get a better draft pick and it to be so bad that people just like, no, I would rather just not show up and the ticket I've already paid for, not even use it because I would rather just sit home and do something else. And then it starts, it becomes an embarrassment. Then they have to fire Garpax. And then we just have a whole new regime in there. But that's just not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. Jerry's too loyal to his boys. And I don't care how often he says, oh, I'm not happy. He's not going to do anything.
And here's the thing. In the way the NBA is, you used to be able to go, hey, I'm going to speak with my wallet. And I'm not going to go to the games. And that had a huge impact. And that's just not the impact that it is anymore because of television revenue. And so you get a lot more money for television revenue. So even if fans don't show up, okay, that's fine. We're still making money. And the same thing with Jerry Reinsdorf and the White Sox, who are, after we were praising them for the Yasmani Grandal signing, it's already, they're shit in the bed as far as the rest of free agency goes. We'll talk about that, I guess, a little more later, but he doesn't care about winning. It's clear. The man is late in the twilight of his life, and he still would rather make money than win championships, or at least try to.
Yeah, as long as he tries and he stay loyal to his boys, that's all that matters.
He's 83 years old.
83.
So he's already past life expectancy. I mean, how many more years does this guy have?
But it doesn't matter because his son is just as bad as he is.
Sell
it's not going to change.
Teams.
They'll sell the Sox. They won't sell the Bulls. Guarantee it.
I don't know if they'll sell either one. Why do they need to?
Oh, yeah. Let me rephrase that. If they were to sell one of them, it would be the Sox. I do not see them selling the Bulls.
He's worth $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion.
Oh, all that TV Bulls revenue. Speaking of suck, I have another thing to say about suckage. Boy, do the Blackhawks suck.
Yeah, they do.
That team is terrible.
How much longer is Colleton going to be the head coach?
I don't know. I don't know. There's part of me that thinks it could end soon. There's part of me that thinks they're going to ride it out. After last night in St. Louis, that right there should have been the final straw for a number of people. Look, Stan Bowman helped maintain a core that won 2 more Stanley Cups because, let's face it, Dale Talon built that first team that won the Stanley Cup in 2010. That was Dale Talon's work. Don't credit Bowman. That was Dale Talon. 13-15, yeah, Bowman made some moves to help create more depth around that roster and kept that core together, and they won 2 more cups. They could have won 3, but that's, we could go on and on about that. But they won 2 more cups. But since then, it has just gone downhill. And the game of hockey has passed this regime by. It passed them by 4 years ago. Colleton, I don't dislike him personally, but I just think the guy's over his head. He came over from what? He was like in the Swedish league, coaching in the Swedish league, and then he spent a year in Rockford, and then he became an NHL head coach. He just is probably over his head. And he can't keep doing this.
If you're Bowman right now, you have to know your ass is in the hot seat.
This I feel like we've been saying this over and over the past year, but it really is time for Mr. Rockwell Wirtz to do something.
I think you need to clean house.
Yeah. Look, you're trying to patchwork what was once great, a core that was once great, with gum and Band-Aids and ear cleaners and pipe cleaners. And while Patrick Kane is still great, you've seen your defensemen regress greatly. Some of your core members are no longer here, like Marian Hossa and Patrick Sharp are no longer playing hockey. And while you have some prospects, you just don't have enough. You don't have enough. You gotta, even if this year you don't really have an ideal coaching candidate this year, I say you make some big changes. You just let the rest of this year just be a nice big old tank, and then you really start to rebuild this offseason. It's just this was my very last straw to see this team try to piece together something to compete. We talked about it in the offseason. We thought that maybe there was a chance that they could piece together a playoff team, and you know what? We were probably fools for thinking that. I convinced myself over and over that the Blackhawks were surprise people. I thought that their forward depth was as good as it's been in a while. I thought while their defense wasn't very good, it was improved, but now you have Keith and DeHaan injured, and even with them, it was still terrible. And you are leaving your goalies out to dry. They could only do so much. When I was at the game the other night, I was at the Blackhawks game against the Coyotes.
Yep.
They gave up nearly 50 shots on goal. They should not have even gotten a point in that game. But the lackluster hockey, the turnovers, they look like molasses out there, man. This team is slow, and they can't keep up with the modern style of quick finesse hockey. You need an entire philosophy change. Because you know what? Right now, you don't have an identity.
You don't. And here's the thing. Is Colleton a good NHL coach? No. But he's also working with a dog shit roster.
Yes, he is. It's not all his fault.
No. But some of it is his fault. And
these line changes are weird.
Yeah. And so you've got a guy that's in, it's very clear Jeremy Colleton is a smart hockey man. And I just don't know if it's too early for NHL or he is just a minor league coach. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
There are some very good coaches, but that you have a peak you hit. And if you are a coach and you are like, I can be successful in the AHL, that's nothing to scoff at.
No, it's not.
It's very, you're a very good coach, but you have to be elite to be a successful NHL coach. And he's not. So, and you add on that he's got a roster that's just not very good. And that just screams, all right, we need to fire Bowman. I mean, you move on. I mean, with Bowman, you throw everybody out. But you worked really hard as an organization to bring goodwill back, to put butts in the seats, and by trying to really retool rather than take a step back and try to rebuild. Maybe not a full rebuild, but really, really take a couple of years off and consciously, this is what we're trying to do. Shed some tough contracts and get some draft picks, rebuild with an actual young core. And they haven't done that. And now they are in a pickle. They don't have a ton of cap room. They've got some albatross contracts. The defense is abysmal. You're not scoring enough goals. And fans are responding by it's pretty easy to get Blackhawks tickets in the secondary market.
Yeah, it is.
And you can even get them for cheaper than face value at points.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially as this goes on and on. Look, I think that this franchise is being set back further and further every day we continue this. Unfortunately, with those albatross contracts, it's hard to just do a fire sale. But I also think you need an organizational fire sale. Like I said before, I think the best way I could describe it is the game has passed this organization by. It was clear. And, I was very, my attitude during the time was different. But you look back and it's clear. The dynasty was officially slammed shut when they got swept by the Predators. That was it. That was it. It would not have really made sense at the time, and there would have been a lot of angry people, myself included. But you can maybe look back and argue that Coach Q, while the best coach we ever had, and believe me, there are a lot of times I miss him, that was it for him right there too. Because everything went downhill. It was clear that everything was stale after that. The one thing we saw that we never saw in that series against Nashville was Coach Q getting outcoached tremendously. He got so badly outcoached in that series. But you know what? Giving him another year, all right. It would have been really hard to justify firing an all-time great coach. But after that season, that should have been the moment of change. If you are going to try to continue to go with it with a veteran core, you get a veteran coach. But they continued with him, then they fired him in a panic move and just said, oh, there's our young guy from the AHL, let's bring him up. And I was all for giving Jeremy Colleton a chance. But, it might not have been the best decisions looking back at it. Because like you said, we don't really know who he is. He might be an AHL coach or he might develop into an NHL coach, but at this point of his career, it might just be a little too ahead of him. You know what was really telling? I don't know if you saw this video. Did you see the video of Jonathan Toews kind of barking back at Colleton and Colleton just kind of taking it? Did you see that?
Is that the video and in it like his tie is all loose and he looks like Gil from The Simpsons?
Yes.
Oh, Gil here.
Oh, gee. Oh, man, my wife's going to kill me. Oh, Gil's going to get back on the train.
This is a train wreck season. And I'm looking right now, and we can admit the Colorado Avalanche are one of the best teams in the conference, correct?
Oh, I mean, they're built not only to win, but they are the absolute blueprint to beat the Blackhawks.
So they are playing here on Wednesday.
Oh, God.
And you can get tickets for as low as $12.
Rock on. I'll just go to get some nachos.
It's Snow Globe giveaway.
Ooh. I'll get my snow globe and some nachos.
Yeah, so you can get tickets for next to nothing.
Yeah, and that's not surprising. It really isn't. That especially with hockey, that's not surprising at all. The one thing I was good. The one other thing I wanted to say about that video that I was talking about. Ask yourself this: could you ever, in a million years, imagine anyone talking like that to Coach Q?
No.
No. Coach Q would literally just ignite in the flames, and Jonathan Toews would be ducking in his seat, and he would start crying.
You would watch Coach Q pop open a giant bottle of Anison, chug it down, and then shoot laser beams out of his eyes.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's a difference. I mean, I just don't think that Colleton has the respect that Coach Q ever had. And look, I would argue that by the end of Coach Q's tenure, he'd kind of lost the team as well. But that to me is just a philosophy getting stale. And you know what? It just happens. There's an expiration date for everybody. But in Coach Q's prime, you would not in a million years dream of any player talking back to Coach Q.
And here's the thing is, we're saying, oh yeah, Coach Q, we're reminiscing. He was an absolutely great coach, Hall of Famer, won 3 titles here. And us being upset and thinking Colleton's time is already gone, he needs to be gone, doesn't mean that it wasn't the right call to get rid of Q.
Right, exactly. I just think the one thing that was screwed up was the timing. The timing was bad. It was a few months too late. A change should have been made that off season.
Yeah, and that also doesn't mean that everybody should have been let go. Is in hindsight, what should have happened is Bowman should have been gone, Q should have been gone, and in the same offseason. And you brought in a new general manager who brought in his head coach.
Right.
That's what should have happened. And I don't know why, we were all okay with the way it happened. I think we were all hoping that Jeremy Colleton was, some wonderkind that was going to come in and change everything. And I think we all saw it through rose-colored glasses, and that's not how it's happening. And that's not to say that he won't be successful someday, but that day is not today.
Or here. It could be somewhere else at another level. It's just not here. It's not working here. And again, it's not all his fault, but it's not working. And I think it sucks that the last few years of this decade are so bad, but yet you are the team of the decade. That's the crazy thing. You're the team of the decade.
The crazy part is the other team that rivals you for team of the decade is the other team that's in last place in your conference with you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's nuts. 5 Stanley Cups combined between the Kings and the Blackhawks, and they've pretty sure both have missed the playoffs the last 2 years. I mean, the Hawks have missed the past several years. The Kings, I'm pretty sure, lost last year and the year before. So, yeah. And you know what else sucks? You know what really sucks?
A lot of things?
Yeah, but look, you are now feeling like, I mean, as much as you want to deny it, but St. Louis is now acting like the older brother. And that shouldn't be.
No, that should never happen. Ever. No.
Maybe this is how Cardinals fans felt when the Cubs got good.
Yeah, but then they just got good 2 minutes later.
Well, we had 15, 16, 17, and 18. That was it.
Yeah, so I'm going to just blow it all up. Blow it all up. Just tank. Let's get an awesome draft pick, and let's trade whoever we can trade. We're not re-signing Crawford, and get that $6 million or whatever off the books. And
Most
There we go.
underappreciated athlete in this city.
I love Corey Crawford, but you know what? He's an older, injured goalie, and this is not a team that's going to compete. What's the point of bringing him back?
No, I know. I'm fully with you. They're not going to bring him back. I think. And you know what? If I'm Robin Leonard, I'd say I'm getting the hell out of here.
Oh yeah, why would you stay here?
Yeah.
You proved your worth. You're going to get big money somewhere.
You think maybe he's traded this season?
What's that?
You think maybe he's traded the season to a contender that might need a goalie?
If you can get something for him, why not?
Yeah. And if you believe in Colin Delia, you trade him and you let him play. You trade Leonard, you let Colin Delia play, which I don't know if I'm really on that train, but if
I am.
Season's lost.
I am. I'm all aboard that train. Figure out what he is if he's the man, and if he sucks, you lose games. You get a better draft pick.
No, I mean I'm fine with that process. I just don't know if Colin Delia is the goalie of the future or not.
Oh, I don't think so. But you know what? Figure it out. Figure it out now.
Yeah. Or you know what? You ask Cam Ward to come out of retirement so you can lose as many games as possible.
It's ugly, ugly, ugly.
Remember when Cam Ward was a beast?
Yes.
That guy aged really fast. Because he's not even that old, but he's done. It just really kind of fell off.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just happens sometimes. You look at some NFL players. They just especially those shutdown island quarterbacks or cornerbacks. 1 year they're just you don't even throw to them, and the next year they're just getting burned left and right. Just that one little bit slippage.
Look at who the Blackhawks honored tonight. It's a perfect example. I don't know if you know.
It was Versteeg, wasn't it?
Yeah, Versteeg.
Oh yeah.
He's not that old, but he was cut in the AHL this year. And he began his career looking like a very promising forward. You remember those days in 2010? I mean, he was looking like a very solid hockey player. I'm pulling up his stats now. Yeah. You look, first full year, 2009, 22 goals, 31 assists, that's 53 points. 2010, 20 goals, 24 assists, 44 points. The year after that, 21 goals, 25 assists, 46 points. The year after that, 23 goals. And then after that, since 2013, he has bounced between Florida, back here, Carolina, LA, Calgary, and the AHL, and he's pretty much done. He's 33 years old. I mean, this was a guy who had 4 consecutive 20-goal seasons. No, sorry, wait, 1, 2... Yeah, 4 consecutive 20-goal seasons from age 22 to 25, and then just completely fell off after that. Maybe it was injuries. I don't know what it was, but it does happen. But hey, he won 2 Stanley Cups, and he had a few good seasons, so I'm sure he'll take it.
Should we put ourselves out of our misery and just wrap this up with some baseball?
But we're going to talk about more misery then. Let's do it.
So we're starting to get into unlike the last couple years, we're actually having some movement in baseball as far as free agency.
I love it.
Yeah, Madison Bumgarner agreed to a deal with the Diamondbacks today.
How do you like that? Who would have called that one?
I don't know. 5-year, $85 million. You have Zach Wheeler gone. You have Steven Strasburg gone. You have Garrett Cole with absolutely stupid money to the Yankees.
Which we all knew was happening. Both the stupid money and the Yankees.
Yeah, but that was extra stupid money.
Over $300 million. I mean, we're talking a guy who's going to play in like 30, 31, 32 games a year, and he's going to be making well over $30 million annually. So he's going to be making over $1 million per start.
When this contract ends, he's going to be a few months shy of 40.
And this is all guaranteed, isn't it?
Absolutely, all guaranteed. He can opt out after 5 years, but why would he? Because he'll be like 35 at that point. Why would you opt out of 35 of a contract that is 4 more years at like $36 million a year?
I wish I could make that money.
I would play 1 year and just be like, done. I'm good.
Seriously.
I'm good. Peace out. I'm retiring.
Because, I mean, in addition to that, if you have, like, endorsements, that's more money.
He already got his dumb Yankees haircut. I don't know if you saw those pictures.
I saw the Photoshop. He looks like a Chad.
He does. But, you know, you have Rendon goes to the Angels.
Mm-hmm. Strasburg goes back to the Nationals.
Right. So, you know, free agency is really, really got going this year. You know, there's like Ryu and Keuchel are like the 2 pitchers that are left that are worth anything.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to think, is there anybody else pitching wise? I mean, you don't have a lot of relievers, big time relievers on this market. I know Dylan Betances, I think, is still out there. But other than that, there's really not a lot. So Felix Hernandez, the shell of Felix Hernandez, that's going to be a small deal probably if he does go anywhere. Yeah, Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah, here's
Ryu.
Here's CBS Sports ranks their top 10 free agents. Anthony Rendon
Gone.
Signed. Garrett Cole signed. Steven Strasburg signed. Josh Donaldson free agent still, but I think that deal is probably soon.
I think he's going to the Nationals.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Or the Rangers. Look out for them too on that.
Yasmani Grandal signed. Madison Bumgarner signed. Zach Wheeler signed. Ryu free agent. Cole Hamels signed. Dallas Keuchel free agent. And then if you want to go down a little further, Mike Moustakas signed. Didi Gregorius signed. Marcelo Ozuna is still a free agent. Yasiel Puig free agent. Castellanos, Rich Hill. But then Will Smith signed. Will Harris still a free agent. Brett Gardner signed. Jake Odorizzi accepted a qualifying offer. Howie Kendrick signed. Ben Zobrist is on this list, but
we don't know if he's coming back now.
Yeah, I don't think he comes back. Edwin Encarnacion, he's a free agent still, but he's 36. Jose Abreu signed. Chris Martin signed. Kyle Gibson signed. Justin Smoke still available.
He's still a thing.
Travis Arnaud signed.
Yeah,
Alex Avila signed. Like, most of these guys are signed. There's not a lot of guys left.
No. I'd say, well, who would you think is the best free agent out there right now? Josh Donaldson?
Josh Donaldson, I think, hands down.
Yeah.
After that, it's kind of a toss-up.
Probably Nicholas Castellanos, Yasiel Puig, Marcelo Ozuna. That's probably your top tier right there. I mean, The thing with Dallas Keuchel is you don't really know what you're going to get with him. You look at his career, how up and down it's been. That just feels like such a coin flip. It could be a great signing. It could be not so great signing. That one's kind of up in the air to me.
I mean, I think he lasts for a while because he's a soft throwing kind of guy. I mean, he's a flamethrower. I think you can, you can kind of guess what you're going to get. It's not going to be great, but it's going to be pretty good. But after what he went through this past year, and he's still on the market right now, I think you could get him for a fair price.
Yeah, right now market value is $20 million, but you see what all these other pitchers are going for. You could probably swing a decent deal there. From a White Sox perspective, I still think it'd be worth trying to get him.
Oh, I think so. I mean, the thing is, Madison Bumgarner just signed for $17 a year.
You know what? I think that's a good deal for him.
I think so too. But if you're the White Sox, I mean, you're stupid to not at least throw out a 4-year, $68 million deal for Dallas Keuchel. 17 a year, 4 years.
And you know, if he's not very good, you have a lot of flexibility.
Yeah. How old is he right now, Dallas?
He's 32.
He's 32. Okay, so you get him until he's 36. You probably get 2.5 good years out of him. And there you go. That third year, you probably struggle through, but then you're like, okay, well, then we have 1 year left. Boom. We can eat that. But he actually gives you playoff experience and a starting caliber guy that can put together a lot of innings. I don't see the harm in that. I mean, what are you spending for an innings eater? 10 to 12 million for a guy that can go 200 innings?
Yeah, I mean, he'll at least give you a solid veteran presence in there. Would he be an ace? No, but he'd probably be right in the middle, I'd say, the rotation, right? That seems reasonable.
I mean, he's a steady presence in there. But 2018, 200 innings. He was hurt 2017. 2016, 170 innings. 2015, 232, 200. The guy can give you a lot of innings. And what did you pay Ivan Nova last year? $11 million to eat those innings? So for $6 more million, you could have a guy that could actually win you some games?
Yeah, more games than just the 2 against the Cubs.
Yeah, so I don't know. If you're the White Sox, you've already lost out on. You came in trying to sign 1, maybe even 2 starting pitchers.
I think you need 2.
I think you need 2 as well. Because you could always, if you come in with 2 and you're covered, if somebody comes back from injury and looks good, then God bless you. You can always move Carlos Rodon to the bullpen. Or
isn't Carlos Rodon not even going to be available to start the season again?
Maybe not. But you cover yourself. I think you need 2. And you missed out on Garrett Cole. I don't even think you were in on Garrett Cole.
No, they never. Let's be real. They were never in on Garrett Cole, and they never had a chance to get Garrett Cole. It was Yankees or nothing.
Hold on a second. Let me do some math here.
1 puddle of puke plus 1 puddle of puke is 2 puddles of puke.
So Grandal is the biggest contract the White Sox have ever given, right?
Right.
So let's just do a little math here. 324 divided by 73. Garrett Cole's contract is almost 4.5 times the biggest contract the White Sox have ever given.
It's a lot of money.
So they were never in on Garrett Cole. I don't think they were ever in on Steven Strasburg.
No, they weren't. They were never brought up in that conversation.
They were in on Zach Wheeler, but he chose to go elsewhere for whatever reason. And I think the White Sox, part of the reason that they signed Yasmani Grandal was so they could tell free agent pitchers, look at your battery mate. We got Yasmani Grandal, and that's working out about as well as signing every one of Manny Machado's cousins and friends.
At least Manny Grandal will give you a very good MVP like catcher, unlike Yonder Alonso. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so where you go from here? I think Dallas Keuchel is becoming a must sign at this point.
Yeah. I mean, let's look for a second. Let's look at your rotation as it is, because you haven't really done anything different there. So you're going to get Kopech back, but he's going to be on an innings limit. And you don't know what he's going to be like when he comes back. He could be better. He could be worse. He could be the same. You don't know. But what you do know is that he's going to be on an innings limit. Then you have Lucas Giolito, who's probably going to be your number one.
Well, hold on. Let's go back to Michael Kopech here. You don't know what he's even going to be as a major leaguer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't know if he's going to be good or bad.
His ERA in his only big league season is over 5.
Right.
With a 6.16 FIP. He had a negative WAR.
Wait, 6.16 FIP? Yikes. That's, yeah.
And
small sample size, but...
Yeah, 14 and a third innings. But still, you don't know what you're... I think, White Sox fans are already penciling in Michael Kopech as being, an all-star. The guy's stats in the 14 innings he pitched aren't very good, and he's coming off of an injury.
Yeah, that to me is just, I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I just don't know. I have no idea. So there's that. Lucas Giolito is probably going to be your ace, right? At least for right now. I don't think there's any question there.
There's no question. Even if you sign Dallas Keuchel, Lucas Giolito is your ace.
Absolutely. And we saw last year 3.41 ERA, 3.43 FIP. That's pretty dang good.
And the thing is looking at his projections here, his steamer projections, and 4.27 ERAs they're predicting and a 3.2 WAR. So they have him coming down to earth. Still good, but still coming down to earth here.
Yeah, I think he'll still be good. I could see an upper 3 ERA. I don't know if it's going to be quite like last year, but I still think he's going to be pretty good.
Where he had over a 5 WAR last year. So they have him coming back down to earth. They have him at over 10 Ks per 9. They have his walks up a tick from 2.9 per 9 to 3.4. And they have his home runs up a tick from 1.22 to 1.47 per 9. So, they're not astronomical number changes, but the ERA goes up almost a point on their steamer projections. I think you're probably somewhere in the middle between 3.41 last year and 4.27.
I see like a 3.68.
I probably see a little higher. I see probably a 3.77 to 3.83.
Okay.
But I still think that's fine. That's fine. You're probably going to get around a 3.5 WAR.
In that ballpark in this day and age with hitters, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. So, okay, there's your ace. And then, so who's number 2? What else you got?
Dylan Cease. You don't know what he's going to be like. I've always been very high on Dylan Cease. What we got last year was not great, but again, he was a rookie. He was only 23. I'm not going to write him off just yet. But again, that's just another one where you don't know. You just don't know for sure.
His steamer projections are 9.5 Ks per 9, 4.25 walks per 9, 1.4 home runs per 9, 4.54 ERA, 4.63 FIP, and a 2.2 WAR.
Well, again, I don't know.
So, what else you got for me?
I don't know, because I doubt Ross Detweiler is going to be back. I doubt Ivan Nova is going to be back. I mean, unless there's somebody I'm missing. I mean, let's see. We did Kopech, we did Giolito, we did Cease. Oh, I think the other one. I think they gotta move on from this, or move him to the bullpen. I think you can try that because he might be valuable in the bullpen. But I think the days of Reynaldo Lopez being a starter are over. I think you got to try to use him in the bullpen because you see the potential with the stuff. And, there are often times when great relievers were failed starters, and I think Reynaldo Lopez has the stuff to be a converted reliever, but as a starter, the numbers are just not good at all. In fact, they're quite bad.
But the thing is, you need to have another starter in there. So
that's why you have to sign someone.
So if you have Cease, Kopech, Giolito, and you move Reynaldo Lopez to the bullpen, minimum you need 2 more starters.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Because you sort of have to, at this point, pencil in Reynaldo Lopez as one of the top 5 starters because you don't even have 5.
Right now, yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
So I don't know where you go from here. You look at some of the White Sox blogs and try to see, all right, what are they projecting? And all of them are pencil in 1 starter and a trade. And I mean, here NBC Sports put Lucas Giolito is number 1. Number 2, new starting pitcher. Number 3, new starting pitcher. 4, Dylan Cease. 5, Reynaldo Lopez / Michael Kopech. So that's 2 different websites, 3 different websites that pencil in 2 starters.
Do you think? I'm gonna. Okay, sorry. Finish your thought first.
Yeah. So Dane Dunning, I don't think is ready. Jamie Lambert's
on surgery, right?
What's that? He had surgery.
Right.
Like you said, Carlos Rodon not ready to start. You have to sign somebody.
So here's my question for you. Here's what I want to ask you. Do you buy any of the rumors, or do you think it's worth trading for David Price? Me personally, I'd say no.
It's funny. I was texting with my buddy Gary today about it, and he is all worked up because the package that he put on the table, or that he told me, I haven't actually read it. It is Madrigal and Vaughn for Benintendi and Price, and that's stupid. Because you're giving up 12 years of control on 2 top 5 draft picks who are tearing up the minors and are going to be in the big leagues very shortly for 3 years of Benintendi and a washed-up David Price.
Yeah, that's a pretty risky deal right there. I've
read some White Sox bloggers that are like, well, maybe you push for Devers. The Red Sox are not throwing in Devers.
No.
So why would you? If I'm the White Sox and you think David Price might be the guy, if I'm them, I'm basically telling them, I will give you some minor leaguer, but you have to eat most of the contract, or I will eat most of the contract, but I'm not giving you anything for him.
Right.
Like, there is no way I'm giving up something for David Price, because what are you getting for David Price? From David Price.
Look, David Price has had an incredible career, but you see it's trending downwards. Let's see. He is he 34 yet? He's 34 going on 35.
He'll be 35 before the season is over.
Right.
He has
He only pitched in 100 innings, 107 innings last year.
He has 3 years left of his contract. That's basically it's $31 million a year. His steamer projection it's actually not bad. It's a 4.17 ERA, 4.21 FIP, 2.6 WAR.
I'm just worried about him pitching in that ballpark at guaranteed right field. I just feel like at his age where he's going, I don't know. That's what I'd be worried about. I mean, I look at the numbers last year in kind of limited innings. 362 FIP, 10.7 K per 9, 1.3 WHIP. That's not bad. That's really not bad. But here's my concern is he pitched in only 74 innings in 2017, 176 in 2018, and only 107 last year. He hasn't made 30. Well, he made 30 starts in 2018, just not a whole lot of innings. He hasn't had like 190, 200 plus. I mean, he used to rack up the innings like crazy. In 2016, 230 innings. He's led the whole league in innings pitched twice in his career. He's eclipsed 200 innings on multiple occasions. He hasn't done that in several years, and he's getting older. That is where my concern would be.
Yeah, if you're, honestly, between what you project Dallas Keuchel to be, he's going to be making roughly half as much per year.
Right.
You don't have to give up anything for him.
Right, you just pay money.
Sign Dallas Keuchel? You just pay money, and less than half of it. Like, why? Just sign Dallas Keuchel. He's younger. He's going to pitch probably more innings, and it just seems like a smarter option.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, if you do get a bargain for David Price and you don't have to trade a lot and you just eat some money, I still don't advise it, but I guess you could kind of make it work. If I were the White Sox, I wouldn't mortgage any of your future for an aging David Price.
Yeah, Steamer projection has them having the same WAR, but Dallas Keuchel pitching almost 40 more innings.
Well, there you go. And you need someone that can eat innings, because that Michael Kopech is going to be on an innings limit. And again, you don't know if Dylan Cease is going to eat a lot of innings or not yet. So you can have a problem right there. The other thing I want to talk about the White Sox, and look, there's plenty of time for them to make moves and fix this, so I'm not saying it's hopeless by any means, but they have done nothing to address their bullpen.
No, the White Sox have really, we wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt when they went out and got Yasmani Grandal, but good grief. After that, they've just left gaping holes in the rest of the roster.
Yeah.
You still don't have a right fielder. You still are missing 2 starting pitchers. You have to rebuild the bullpen.
Yeah, and, bringing up right field, if I'm a White Sox fan, I don't know what your buddy Gary thinks. I'd be interested to ask him his opinion on this. Nomar Mazara, really? That's your solution?
No, that's not a solution.
I'd like him as a depth piece. Don't get me wrong. If he's like your 4th outfielder, that's a nice get. But if that's your solution, I feel like they could do much better than that.
Gary called him Avisail Garcia 2.0.
Ouch. I mean, again, if he like I was saying, if he was depth, that would be a good move. And look, people were talking about giving up the one prospect. It's not about giving up the prospect. It's about filling the hole. And
here's the thing. Like, all right, this is what the White Sox see with Mazara. He's going to be just turning 25. And last year he had 19 home runs? 19 home runs. And the year before he had 20 home runs. So he's got some nice pop. But Here's you're looking at his OBP at under 750. So under 750 2 years ago, and then last year you're looking at it's like 780, 785, something like that.
Oh, you're talking OPS.
Yeah, OPS. And he's barely over 300 on base percentage. And he's not even a one WAR guy.
He's really just an average ball player. He's a very slightly above average ball player.
Yeah, he's he's a left-handed bat with some pop in it. That should be a platoon guy.
Yeah, and if he is a platoon depth guy, then you know what? I'd take that. I would. Like, I don't want to call him a bad player, but that doesn't put you over the top.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I'm okay with the move, unless he's your guy in right field that you're penciling in. If that's the
other
case,
then right,
boo.
Your other problem too is defense is not very good. His defense is really nothing to write home about.
I have not seen him enough, and I have not looked at the defensive metrics enough to judge that. I'm just looking at his batting statistics, and he's got some decent pop, but he's not an on base guy, and his OPS is like average. Like,
it is average, yeah.
So you're not even a one WAR guy. What does Theo say? Like, to be competitive for a World Series, every single position you need a guy with at least a one WAR.
Yeah.
And you're bringing in a guy in his career has never been over a one WAR. Last year he was a half WAR.
Do you want to know the metrics for his fielding?
Yes.
So, he's mostly played right, obviously. He's played some left. In the outfield, period, his career defensive runs saved are -19, -19, -25 RPM, UZR divided by 150. I'll say UZR. UZR is -3.2. UZR 150. It kind of balances things out a little more. Is -1.
Oof.
That's not good.
That's definitely oof.
Well, it is good if
you like puke.
Right. I'm really disappointed at the White Sox. And maybe they do go out and get somebody else. Maybe they surprise us all, but I'd be really disappointed if he's their one solution. Or if they go, we'll platoon him with Leury Garcia, and then you're going to get Leury Garcia was really good last year. Do you really want to try to go for a championship with Leury Garcia and Meraza as your guys? You can do better than that.
Like
you could get Yasiel Puig. He'll be better than that. You'll get Nick Castellanos. He'll be better than that.
Absolutely, both guys would be better. Leury Garcia is projecting Steamer projections to be a 0.3 WAR player next year.
There you go. I don't know where this whole idea that Leury Garcia is suddenly this really valuable player.
He's not.
As a platoon, maybe, but come on.
His career WAR is less than 1.
There you go.
I think. I mean, I know Puig is not a popular guy. He's not going to win any popularity contests. But he's under 30. And he's projected to have 26 home runs, and be a 2-WAR guy. So that's a lot better than what you got with Mazzara or in Larry Garcia.
You can do better than that. They should do better than that. I would hope they do better than that. Again, the offseason's not over, but come on. Do better than that.
But, sure, the offseason is not over yet, but you're running out of real estate. How many players are left, to go? We're already, most of the top 10 free agents are gone. What is ESPN's rankings here? It's not ranking them. So back to CBS here. Josh Donaldson's available. They're not signing him.
No.
Because he's going to be more than what they pay. Bumgarner gone. Ryu. I would be, if you go out and sign Ryu and Keuchel, then you're telling me, all right, we're actually trying. Even though I don't think either one of those guys is going to be elite, they're at least major league caliber pitchers. Marcell Ozuna is still out there. I would be absolutely shocked if the White Sox brought him in. Yasiel Puig's out there. Nick Castellanos out there. Rich Hill is out there. I think that's a bad option.
I could totally see them doing it, though.
Yeah. But, honestly, if you're the White Sox and you're legitimately saying you're trying to make a run, don't you sort of have to sign one of the three of Ozuna, Puig, or Castellanos?
Yeah, I think so. I think you got to add more.
If you're the White Sox, you can easily afford to go out and get Ryu, Keuchel, and one of those three outfielders. All, 2 pitchers and an outfielder, and still be well within your baseball budget. Yeah.
You aren't even with the Grandal signing, you're not spending a shit ton of money. You need to do something. You need to spend some because you have some.
Yeah, what's the average per year value do you think Ryu gets?
I think it's in the high teens. I don't think he's going to make as much money as maybe he would have earned if he were healthier. You look at the numbers, especially last year, were fantastic, but I just don't think he's going to get as much money as some may have initially thought. There's a lot of injury risk right there. He's a guy that relies on contact outs and not a lot of strikeouts. So I feel like it's going to be somewhere in the teens.
Just throw out a number. I just kind of want to do some quick math here.
Let's see. His market value is in the high 20s, but I'm going to say 19. I don't think he's going to make that much. I could be way off on this. Way, way, way off.
What about Dallas Keuchel? What do you think his average annual value will be in a contract?
I'm going to say let's do 20.
Okay. And then Ozuna, Puig, Castellanos. Just throw out a number for one of those guys.
Ozuna, 18. Puig, 16. And then Castellanos, it's going to be a little more. Let's go. Again, I'm just pulling this one out of my ass. Let's go 24.
All right, I'm going to put 20 in there. If you were the White Sox and you sign,
I know I'm being a little conservative, but yeah.
If you're the White Sox and you sign 3 of those guys, your payroll next year is $136.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Like the Cubs are like 100 million more than you. Like you can do this. And if you're the White Sox and you go, we trotted out and we went and got for our holes, we had a hole at catcher. We put Yasmani Grandal. We had 2 pitching spots. We got, Ryu and Keuchel. We had an outfield spot and we put Marcelo Zunis. And you go, you know what? We did our part. Now it's these players got to do it. They have a whole big, strong leg to stand on that one.
Right.
But they're not. The pitchers, you're running out of pitchers. You really are running out of pitchers to sign.
I think they're going to have to end up making a trade or two.
Who do you trade, though? I mean, no joke. Don't be shocked if I used to say this as a joke, but we're getting to the point now where Ivan Nova could be back.
I'm still not going to go that bad yet. Bet. Okay, if Ivan Nova re-signs with the White Sox, I will buy you a thin crust Chicago tavern style pizza, and I will sit and watch you eat all the corner pieces. Do you know how hard that is to do as a Chicagoan?
I hear you. That's how confident you are.
Yeah. So do we have a bet?
Sure.
Okay. We are shaking hands through the microphone.
So, I mean, I'm looking at who else is available, and there is not a ton of options. And I'm not saying Ivan Nova is a good one, but it totally fits the White Sox because he'll take a cheap contract.
Yeah, well, I think there's going to be riots on 35th and Shields if that happens.
I also have a very White Sox outfield prospect.
Oh?
I'm going to give you his name rhymes with Wunter Wentz.
Oh, God.
That screams White Sox. Hunter Pence just screams White Sox.
He is still out there.
He's still out there.
He's not officially retired.
He is not. I think he's looking to play again.
No?
Hunter Pence. Let's see. Come on, Fangraphs. Open. He is, when the season starts, going to be 37 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, he played on a $2 million contract and had an almost 2 WAR. He had 18 home runs, slash line 297, 358, 552. That screams White Sox.
Yeah.
You want to argue this. You really do, but you know I'm right.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, last year at this time there was a ton of free agents left. There's just really not.
I mean, the list is getting checked off pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, here's your outfielders. I mean, there's the three big ones: the Ozuna, Puig, Castellanos. After that, Brett Gardner, Corey Dickerson, Hunter Pence, Cole Calhoun.
I could see them going after a Cole Calhoun.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at that one. Avisail Garcia. That's your top 50.
Avisail Garcia, I think he would fit well on another team based on what he did last year. Because I'm looking at last year, and let's see, what are his numbers? Well, he had an OPS of nearly 800. He had 20 home runs, 282, 332, 464. He's not a bad player, but my God, the White Sox don't do that. Don't. Just don't.
You know who's number 47 on the CBS Sports top 50 free agents?
Who?
Nova.
Stop!
He is sandwiched in between Todd Frazier and Jordan Lyles.
Todd Frazier's that low, huh?
Mm-hmm. You know who's number 50?
Who?
Starlin Castro.
Oh boy. Oh.
Yeah, that bottom 10 there is Alex Wood, Scooter Gennett, Rick Porcello, Jose Iglesias, Gio Gonzalez, Todd Frazier, Von Nova, Jordan Lyles, Avi Garcia, and Starlin Castro.
That is a lot of has-beens.
That is a list. Those are some names. Period.
Those are their names. Their names.
Yep. Some people have those names.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Avi Garcia. Remember when he was supposed to be Baby Miggy?
Yeah.
And then I think the Tigers just traded him in division because he was porking Prince Fielder's wife or something. I don't know exactly what the story was. I heard that somewhere. I don't even know if it's true.
And then you got Gio Gonzalez, who... What is...
Hey, he kicked the crap out of the Cubs every time.
Yeah, I mean, his steamer projections, 4.7 ERA, 4.74 FIP, 4.93 xFIP, 1.5 WAR. And he pitched on a $2 million contract last year with innings bonus. That seems like a White Sox planting too.
Yeah, it does. I actually think that there'd be a good chance of him going there as like a fifth starter / long relief guy
/ second starter.
Yeah,
depending on how things go.
Yeah.
White Sox need to get into play, and that kind of leads us to the Cubs, who have done nothing.
We brought Brandon Morrow back
on a minor league deal. Whoop-de-doo.
In all seriousness, no, I do like that move. I'm just gonna say that. I like that move. But that's all they've done. Nothing else.
But they've met with Shogo Akiyama.
Yeah, well, we don't know if we're gonna have enough money because we need more pumpkin patches at Gallagher Way.
Don't worry, guys. Here's your 2020 Cubs bullpen. Craig Kimbrell, Rowan Wick, Kyle Ryan, Brad Wick, Dan Winkler, Trevor McGill, Alec Mills, Tyler Chatwood, Dwayne Underwood Jr., and Jarrell Cotton. That's a championship bullpen there.
And also, our catchers are the pumpkins from Gallagher Way.
We don't have a catcher. We just put up a brick wall there like they did in the old days.
Is he from New York now?
Yeah, see?
They're just throwing balls at big brick walls with rotting pumpkins on the bottom.
I love that. You're like, gotta buy more German tchotchkes.
German tchotchkes. Hey, those German tchotchkes are going to help get us some free agents. And by free agents, I mean Brandon Morrow's minor league deal.
Oh, my God. And then, what is this Nick Castellanos rumor? These shenanigans?
That's from Mike Murphy. My impeccable sources from my pro bowler had told me that they've signed Nick Castellanos on an honorary deal.
I haven't got any emails from Gallagher Way lately. That's worrisome. Gallagher Way, Winterland is open. Visit the ice rink, Chris Kindle Market, Wrigleyville, and more. Winterland at Gallagher Way.
We ran out of product.
We represent the Lullaby Guild. The Lollipop Guild.
Somebody stole the tree in Gallagher Way.
Somebody landed on a witch in a Gallagher Way. They're not signing Nick Castellanos, and like they're like, oh, the rumors are shopping Chris Bryant. Even if they do trade Chris Bryant, what are the odds that you get back right now? You get back the production that he's going to give you in the lineup.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, as much as I like Nick Castellanos, you are downgrading by signing him and getting rid of Chris Bryant. I know people want to fight me about that, but the fact of the matter is Chris Bryant is better than Nick Castellanos.
Chris Bryant, he is about to turn 28, and his steamer projections next year are a 4.8 WAR and a slash line of 273, 377, 508. That's a dip.
A dip like a donkey chip in queso.
Now, what about Nicholas Castellanos? What is his projections here? Castellanos.
Like, I'm sure he's going to be a good player, but we got to keep in mind who Chris Bryant is and who Nicholas Castellanos is.
Nick Castellanos, his steamer projection next year. Would you like to take a gander at what they project his F WAR to be?
His F WAR? I'll guess that and his slash line. Let's see if I can come up with that.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll start with his F WAR. I'm trying to think. Let's see. I'm gonna guess like around 3.
Okay.
Am I low, high?
Cut it in half.
Wow. So like
1.5.
1.5? Really? That seems kind of low.
Would you like to guess his slash line his steamer projection?
Okay, so slash line, I'm gonna guess 280, 330 for 492.
Not too bad there. 275, 331, 490.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty much what his career is.
Pretty much. His career is 277, 326, 471.
Yeah, there you go.
Last year, he was 289, 337, 525 with a 2.8 WAR. So as much as I would like Nick Castellanos back, I don't want to pay him over $20 million a year.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money for a guy that is good but not great.
And I'm going to look up his stats now on Fangraphs. Okay, so last year wasn't even his top WAR season. His top WAR season was the year before. That was a 3.0. Last year was a 2.8. For some reason, I thought he had a 4 WAR season there, but I guess not. But yeah, the year before that, 1.5. Year before that, 2.4. Year before that, 0.5. Year before that, 0.4. If I had to take a wild guess, my Alex Steamer projections, which don't mean crap because they are crap, I would guess his WAR would be in the upper 2s. I would say I said around 3. I would project it around 2.5, 2.6. I don't think he'll drop that much WAR, especially if he's on a winning team. But yeah, I mean, he's never had a WAR over 3.0.
Steamer is projecting Jason Hayward to have a higher WAR next year.
Huh. Interesting.
So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of that is defensive, but Still,
Yeah, you're probably right.
because the slash line isn't as good. They predict a slash line of 261, 342, and 419.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so I have no idea what the Cubs are going to be on opening day. I have no idea. I mean, it seems like they're hell bent on trading Chris Bryant. It came out, well, there's two versions of the story. The first one being, and that first one, and probably the more impactful as far as what fans heard, is they're not offering Anthony Rizzo, or they're not trying to extend Anthony Rizzo. And I'm fine with that. I don't know about you, but I'm fine with that.
Not extending?
Right now. Why would you? Why do you need to?
I mean, I think he deserves it. I would like them to do it, but I don't think they have to do it. That's where I'm at.
Why? Yeah, because why do you have to? Because right now I'm on Spot Track, and they have him for this year and next year. You have 2 more years, and at almost $17 million per year. He's, how old is he right now? 35, 34?
Anthony Rizzo?
Yeah, how old is he?
He's like 30.
Is he?
He's not that old.
There's a fan graphs. You're right. He'll be 31 in the middle of the year. All right, so he's younger than I thought. So maybe you could extend him here, but you're looking at a 4-WAR guy with a next year steamer projection 284, 388, 522 with 32 home runs. So, but you're paying him 17 per year.
You're also getting Gold Glove defense, smart defense, and a team leader.
I just wonder what kind of contract he's looking for there.
Well, I don't think he's demanding too much. The Cubs are literally just saying, "You don't have any money."
Because it was a pretty solid deal they had. In 2016, he made $5 million per year.
He was very underpaid. Just period. He's been a very underpaid player because they did that contract when he was young, so they were able to get that done. But
That was a White Sox type contract.
It was. It absolutely was.
Yeah. Here's his escalators. So, 2013 he made $750,000. 2014 1.25. 2015 5. 2016 5. 2017, 2018 7. 2019 11. And then this year 16.5. And next year 16.5.
Yeah, there you go.
So never once has he been market value.
No.
But so Anthony Rizzo, you're hell-bent on trading Chris Bryant. You're talking extensions with Baez. We don't know what that last outfield spot is, but, suddenly a rumor about Nick Castellanos, which I don't know where that comes from or where you get that money from. And if you tell me they trade Chris Bryant to get the money, that better be an absolute butthole of players that are pitchers that are all going to be super team controlled, good young pitchers. I don't know. This is once Josh Donaldson signs, I think we'll know more about what happens with Chris Bryant.
Well, yeah, I mean, they even said that during the winter meetings that Rendon and Donaldson are going to kind of set the tone for the whole thing.
Yeah, because Rendon already signed. Donaldson probably signs soon. And I imagine it's... I heard rumblings about a Minnesota, but it's probably Atlanta or Washington. And then after that, then the Cubs can make their play. But the problem is Colorado is offering their third baseman.
Do you think they're going to trade? They're going to end up trading away Nolan Arenado?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they will either.
They
don't seem nearly as serious as we are.
No. I think they even clarified it. They're like, we'll listen to whatever people offer. Doesn't mean we're going to do it. Just we'll listen to things. That's what you got to do. And I agree with that. But Nolan Arenado was really good.
Yes, he is. There was one.
He's steamer projecting to have a 5 WAR with a slash line of 296, 370, and 571.
Yeah, that's really dang good. That is really dang good.
Yeah. But he's getting paid for it, so average annual value of $32.5 million a year.
Yep, that's
the contract that you start with Chris Bryant.
Right.
And you just escalate from there.
Especially when Mr. Scott Boras is your manager.
Yeah. Ugh. Baseball, football, hockey, basketball in Chicago are really great right now.
If you like puke.
If you like puke.
Hey, at least Patrick Kane had a nice hat trick tonight against the Wild.
Do you trade him?
Yes.
I think so. You get
if you want a haul and you can get a haul, I think you got to do it.
You get a haul and you clear $10 million off your books, or 11 or whatever he's making.
I don't want to see him play in another uniform because let's face it, he has been the number one athlete in this city this decade. Number one.
Yeah,
but
great.
I think everyone's got to be on the table now. Everyone except like your young, like DeBrincat, Doc, Boquist. Those are the guys you got to try to build around. Every veteran, though, Taze, Kane, Saad, Crawford, Leonard. I think they got to all be on the table.
Yeah, clear cap space. Clear it.
Cap space. Get draft picks, prospects, build up.
Because there's 2 contracts that you're saddled with.
Right.
And so you could, the problem is they don't have trade clauses. They have no trade clauses.
And it's not like you're going to trade Keith now. He's hurt.
Yeah, well, that one's a no trade. You can't trade that. You're not going to trade Seabrook. But Keith and Kane and Taves, they've got no movement clauses. Like, they'd have to accept it. I think Kane you could probably, but I don't think Taves. I don't think he has any plans of leaving.
I don't think so either. I don't. I don't think Kane actually does get traded, but I think if you can try and you have a real opportunity to get something, push for it. Again, I don't want to see him go, but if it's for the best for the franchise going forward, you have to bite the bullet.
That's my point. Is you're just sort of wasting him here because you're a bad team. Is you need to figure out a way to get better. Are you just going to keep a guy that's high cost, that's good, just around, or you jumpstart your rebuild? I mean, those are the hard decisions to make. Those are the things that you get paid big bucks to be the GM for.
Mm-hmm.
Should we wrap this up here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, thank everybody so much for listening. Please check us out on social media at ShyFanPat1, at Swerski Sports, Facebook.com/Swerski Sports, SwerskiSports.com. hit subscribe however you listen to podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, TuneIn app, or Google Play. However you listen to podcasts. Share this podcast with your friends. That's how we grow the show. And again, thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, bear down.
Cubs win! What a lucky break! The good Lord wants the Cubs to win!
We thank Ditka and God for all they have provided.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
Oh, I don't want her. You can have her. She's a Packer fan. She can't fit in my van.
And she looks like number New Yorkers. Smoking crack is not legal on planes. Bears 31 to -7. The Bears! Oh, when the Bears go bearing down, I wanna...